जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपी गौ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री पंचतत्व भगवान की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Jagadguru Sri Prabhupada, Jagadguru Sri Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. So today we are going to discuss from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 25, verse number 15 and 16. Please repeat after me. Nila Sphatika Vaidurya Mukta Marakata Runai Klipta Hermya Sthalim Diptam Shriya Bhogavatim Iva Nila Sphatika Vaidurya Mukta Marakata Runai Klipta Hermya Sthalim Diptam Shriya Bhogavatim Iva Nilasphatika Vaidurya Mukta Marakatarunai Klipta Hermya Sthalim Diptam Shriya Bhogavatim Iva. Prabhus. Nilaspatika Vaidurya Mukta Marakatanai Klipta Hermya Sthalim Diptam Shriya Bhogavatim Iva. Word to word translation. Nila sapphires, Sphatika crystal, Vaidurya diamonds, Mukta pearls, Marakata emeralds, Arunahi with rubies, Klipta bedecked, Harmesthalim the floors of the palaces, Diptam lustrous, Shriya with beauty, Bhogavatim the celestial town named Bhogavatī, Eva like. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The floors of the houses in that city were made of sapphires, crystal, diamonds, pearls, emeralds and rubies. Because of the luster of the houses in the capital, the city was compared to the celestial town named Bhogavatī. In the city of the body, the heart is purport. In the city of the body, the heart is considered to be the capital. Just as the capital of a state is especially gorgeously filled with various high buildings and lustrous palaces, the heart of the body is filled with various desires and plans for material enjoyment. Such plans are sometimes compared to valuable jewels such as sapphires, rubies, pearls, and emeralds. The heart becomes the center for all planning for material enjoyment. Volume. So I will quickly read verse 16. Savachatvar rathyavir akridaya tanapanai chaityadhvaja patakavir yuktam vidruma vedibhi. Translation. In that city there were many assembly houses, street crossings, streets, restaurants, gambling houses, markets, resting places, flags, festoons, and beautiful parks. All these surrounded the city. Purport. In this way, the capital is described. In the capital, there are assembly houses and many squares, many street crossings, avenues and the streets, many gambling places, markets and places of rest, all decorated with flags and festoons. The squares are surrounded with railings and are devoid of trees. The heart of the body can be compared to the assembly house, for living entity is within the heart, along with the Paramatma. As stated in Bhogavatī 15:15, Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivisto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. The heart is the center of all remembrance, forgetfulness and deliberation. In the body, the eyes, ears and nose are different places of attraction for sense enjoyment, and the streets for going hither and thither may be compared to different types of air blowing within the body. The yogic process for controlling the air within the body and the different nerves is called Susumna, the path of liberation. The body is also a resting place because when the living entity becomes fatigued, he takes rest within the body. The palms and the soles of the feet are compared to flags and festoons. Let's sing Mangalacharan. Om Jnanam Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisavano Sute Devi Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham bande Shri Guru Adinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Shwaram. Translation. The floors of the houses in that city were made of sapphires, crystal, diamonds, pearls, emeralds, and rubies. Because of the luster of the houses in the capital, the city was compared to the celestial town named Bhogavatī. So, Narada Muni, he went to King Prachina, very pious king. If we see in our material activities, when there is some gain, material gain, we have the tendency to increase the activity. Like a new graduate starts working. He may not get, very attractive allowances at first, but whatever he gets, because it is his first job or first salary, he becomes very happy to get selected in the job or to be hired. He becomes very happy. After he joins, then he looks for promotion so that he gets better pay rates, and then he starts to look for overtimes more and more. In the same way, King Prachina, since he was very pious king, he knew many Vedic injunctions, and when he knew that the sacrifices, when sacrifices are performed, he can get lots of material benediction, and not only he himself can enjoy the kingdom, but also his citizens can get all the facilities, material facilities. So when he kept on continuing performing sacrifices, he became so used to with it, he just started doing lot and lot, like workers do overtime. So in a few verses before, in the purport, Prabhupada says, we should not misunderstand Narada Muni for requesting Prachina Varishat to not perform sacrifices. Actually, sacrifices are good, right? Even they are recommended in Vedas, and specifically for that age, I think it was still Satya Yuga. Sacrifices are still, very much appreciated. But Narada Muni, going to him and giving some example, or trying to pacify him, or trying to persuade him to not perform sacrifices. Prabhupada says, yes, that is true. It is good to perform sacrifices, but the way he was performing sacrifices was too much. And but what is the difference? That is good. Like if animals, they keep on getting human body, human life, after being killed in sacrifices, then that is good for animal species. That is our natural tendency to think, from other way around, especially when it talks about faith and the history. Because in faith we always have the question. So unless there is reason, our faith doesn't become very strong. So here Prabhupada in the purport, he mentions that Narad Muni asked him to stop sacrifices because he was killing unnecessarily, and there is risk in that case. Because he was killing in large number, even if one sacrifice failed, if one sacrifice is failed, let's say in the mantra, if there is some little mistake, then sacrifice is unsuccessful, and that is very dangerous for himself. And as he is a king, even the citizens are responsible. They will also have to face the karma of the king. Like in our present situation, because of the leaders not being very pious, not being very knowledgeous regarding the Vedic wisdom, the people in general, citizens, the subjects of the king, of the leaders, they are facing many materialistic trouble as well. What to talk about spirituality? There is, if we say the kings in the Vedic times, the king's position was such that he will provide the material situation to be already fulfilled, in the very proper way. It will be enough for them to maintain themselves. There are citizens don't have to endeavor for their own maintenance. And if they want to further improve, then it can be either to elevate themselves to the higher planets or to get themselves in the devotional service. There is no other business. They don't have to think what I will eat tomorrow, what I will do, what will my children do. I have to build extra house, I have to build big house. Like that. No need. King is to maintain such a balanced, such a harmonious kingdom. So Narad Muni, that's why being merciful to the king and protecting him from danger of failure if any mistake happens in the sacrifice. And not only that, since his sons, Prachetas, they were already great devotees of the Lord. They have already done so much austerity and penances under the guidance of Lord Shiva. So it is not very auspicious, if the parents are not very favorable for child's devotional service, even for the benefit of children, understanding of the children, towards and their tendency towards devotional service. So Narad Muni wants to make king or devotee as well. And regarding the way Narad Muni tried to persuade him in stopping the sacrifices that he is constantly performing, and request him to start devotional service, he is using Vaishnava etiquette. This is very important. In our everyday dealings, we can see mistakes committed by fellow Vaishnavas, fellow devotees, and we are humans, we commit mistake, and sometimes we have to correct as well. But the problem is we get offended when someone commits mistake And when we correct them, they get offended. And we are in the position of committing offense. Like it had to be other way around, right? Like someone committed offense, and someone is helping them to elevate themselves. But rather than that, like we are also committing offense, and our position is in danger. So if we see from Narad Muni, this aspect of etiquette is very nicely represented as Acharya, because he did not directly say you are doing these things, all these, like he did not point out the mistakes like that. He used the allegory of King Puranjana, which is representing the king himself. And we may say, like, what if we make the story and at last it doesn't make sense to the devotee? So Vaishnava is expert as well. He knows the position of the other devotee. Like if they are elevated, they know, like, to what extent I can give an example and he can understand. Like Narad Muni knew that when he gives example, he will understand it, because he was a pious king and he was intelligent king, right? So he will understand. That's why he used this example. So according to the position of the devotees with whom we have to deal, we deal like people, great Vaishnavas deal respectively, considering the position of the great devotees. And for us also, it is very easy to deal with equals normally, because even if we become direct, like they know, like the mood, they know, like then they understand as well. Like if someone is like quite new and corrects us, we may feel like a bit bad towards them as well. Who is he to correct me? That's why we are allocated with mentors, so that we don't commit much offenses in the ashram. We normally take mentors. Actually, even outside, like normally devotees are under the care of mentor, so that they can be corrected when they are not performing within the etiquette of a Vaishnava. So, and going into the allegory, Narad Muni now goes deeper. Prabhupada in the purport says, in the city of body, the heart is considered to be the capital. Just as the capital of the state is especially gorgeously filled with various high buildings and lustrous palaces, the heart of body is filled with various desires and plans for material enjoyment. Yes, but the way the devotees see, we say there are lumps in our heart, right? These are the clots, these are the lumps that is restricting us from pure devotional service. That is actually heart. From Sichastakam verse from Lord Chaitanya, Chetu Darpanam Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidya Badhu Jivanam. So heart is supposed to be very clean, so that it reflects and we can clearly see through and see the Lord, But when the heart is, let's say, like let's take heart like a window. Actually mirror, like it is said like about the mind on the mirror, so that like when it is clean, we can clearly see from it. But like if we see like and if the mirror is like completely dusted, so much dust, like we cannot see the reflection, right? So these are the lumps in the heart. These are the impurities in the mirror. or even if we say window, like if we see ourselves as the observer and heart through as the medium, like a window, and Lord residing inside, next to the soul, as the Lord Himself, super soul as the Lord Himself. Then this heart that has got so much impurities, so much anarthas, so much lumps, so much clots of material desires for enjoyment of material world, that is restricting us to see the Lord as He is. But by the mercy of Sadhu, Guru, Shastra and Srila Prabhupada, we have got Krishna consciousness. We have got identity of the Lord. Like, let's say we are seeing out through the window outside, and window is completely dirty. We cannot see anything. We are trying to see through it, and we are not seeing who is outside. But at the same time, if someone comes and tells us this person is outside, that really helps to understand that person, right? So we are getting the details, and at the same time we are working on it to clean it, cleansing the mirror, and so that we can see through clearly. So here on the material plane, it is said heart is filled with various desires and plans for material enjoyment, so it is like the city. But for Vaishnavas, they see, yeah, it is city, even for, if we see on the purpose of maintaining our body, on the purpose of being alive, the activities of heart is very important. In that sense, still it can be known as capital city. And such plants are sometimes compared to valuable jewels such as sapphires, rubies, pearls and emeralds. The heart becomes the center for our planning for material enjoyment. So jewels, here he compared the plans, the desires that come in our heart to be, with the comparison is with the jewels, like sapphires, rubies, pearls and emeralds. Yeah, he was pious king. So even if he had material desires for sense enjoyment, the desires were not at least sinful. Like on the big platform, if we see, like they are not as sinful as the people in Kali Yuga, right? He is from Satya Yuga. Even though he had material desires, they are not like, at least he had the desires that would still take him to higher planets. So they are compared to the sapphires, rubies, pearls and emeralds. And if it is compared to the people in Kali Yuga, it is like iron. Iron, wood. Iron that gets rusted, wood that gets destroyed over time, and that is not attractive at all. So, yeah, and in this way, Narad Muni talked about he is actually slowly talking about the position of King Prachina Varisad, giving the allegory of King Purandana. So, in the other verse number 16, in the capital there are assembly houses and many squares, many street crossings, avenues and streets, many gambling places, markets and places of rest, all decorated with flags, festoons. Yeah, here the feet and hands are compared to the flags and festoons. In Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, it should be in the first or second chapter. Maybe these are the only chapters that I can remember from the second canto, because it's very philosophical and very hard to remember. But there, Sukadeva Goswami talks about the body parts and its value of general population, and talks about the purpose of the body. So actually all our body parts, all our senses, they are made for the enjoyment of Rishikesh. Rishikesh means the one who is the Lord of Rishika. Rishika means senses. So Krishna, one of the name of Krishna is also Rishikesh. So Rishikena Rishikesh, Sivanam Bhaktir Uttama. So using the senses, if we serve Lord Rishikesh, then that is the highest devotional service, right? So like how he compared flags and festoons to hand and feet, in there Sukadeva Goswami compares eyes of general people to be as good as the plumes in tails of peacock feather. There are plumes. So like they look like eyes, they look very beautiful, but like it doesn't have any value. It doesn't have any function. It just have like that. And their ear to be snake holes. Ear is made, eyes are made to see the form of the Lord. Those eyes which don't see the form of the Lord is as good as plumes of peacock, very useless. And ear is compared to the snake holes. If someone doesn't hear Bhagavad Katha, why is it compared to the snake holes? If we see snake holes, what do? We try to avoid. We don't put our hand, anything like that, right? Because we constantly see if snake is coming out or going in. So it is further useless. If there is ordinary hole, at least we may use for some purpose. But if there is snake holes, useless. So if we don't hear the glories of the Lord and the devotees, if we don't do Bhagavad Sravana, then useless. All the senses are useless for us. And he compares tongue. Our tongue, anybody knows what he compares to the tongue to? Frogs. Tongue of the frog. The function of the tongue of the frog? It just croaks, it just is used to make some noise. And what does it do? What does the noise of the frog do? It just invites a snake to be eaten, right? Himself. So if someone does not sing the glories of the Lord, if someone does not speak about the Lord, if someone is not engaged in bhajana kirtana, then his tongue is equal to that of a frog. He is just inviting the kala, time, the form of the Lord as death, to take him away. So Ayur Harati Vai Pumsam, that verse actually it talks about on the committing Vaishnava offense. If we commit Vaishnava offense, it will just take away all the glories of the person, whatever they have, Ayur. First of all, it takes away the Ayu or time of person living in the in this body. It reduces the time life expectancy, and it takes away the beauty. These things. In the same way, if sorry, I blanked out. If we are not engaged in the service of the Lord, just time will just come and take away our life, because it is useless. The purpose of having our body, having purpose of our life, is to serve Lord in different many ways. But if you don't engage in the service of the Lord, like tongue of the frog, it will just invite the death, and we die. And whole body is compared, and the body with all the material glories is compared to the dead body. It doesn't have any functions. And with whatever material opulences we have is the garland in the dead body. Like that it is explained. So in the same way, here Narad Muni is comparing the feet and hands with flags and festoons. So useless, right? Just for decoration, like decoration of the dead body. And he says, the heart of the body can be compared also to the assembly house for the living entity. For the living entity is within the heart along with the Paramatma. As stated in Bhogavatī, Sarvasya cha mridi sannivishto matta smriti jnanam apahanam cha. The heart is the center of all remembrance, forgetfulness and deliverance. In the body, the eyes, ears and nose are different places of attraction for sense enjoyment. And the streets for going hither and thither may be compared to different types of air blowing within the body. The yogic process for controlling the air within the body and the different nerves is called susumna, the path of liberation. So here, even if one follows purusarthas, dharma, artha, kama and moksha, the goal is moksha. And who looks for moksha and to whom to go for moksha? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 29th verse, Jara marana mokshaya mam ashrityam. Just check, I'll check the verse. Jara marana mokshaya mam ashrityam etanti ye te brahma tad kritsnam tad vidu kritsnam adhyatmam karma chakhilam. So he says, intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. So, considering the situation of King Prajna Varishat, his sons are already qualified to rule the kingdom now. They have already got the devotional service, they have already become great devotees. And on his instruction, they went for austerity and penances, right? So, now his time is, to retire, right? We can compare it in the situation for him, like this verse, it matches so much that, if one is intelligent, at that situation, even if one goes through dharma, artha, kama, he has already gone through, dharma, artha, kama, right? Now he is in the position to, think of liberation. If one is endeavoring for liberation from old age and death, he will take refuge in devotional service. In me, in devotional service. So Narad Muni is trying to give devotional service. And what happens after getting devotional service, one becomes the actual Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. One will know about the activities of the Lord, transcendental activities of the Lord when they engage in devotional service. And what happens when one engages in devotional service? They go to the planet of Krishna and Tekta Deham Punarjanma Naiti Mameti Arjuna. When they go to the planet of Krishna, they don't come back. So that is the position of devotional service. So, thinking of the welfare of the king, Narad Muni in this way, he is giving all these examples, all this allegory, all this description to make himself, first of all, completely conscious about how his body is made, what his desires are. He is not comparing the desires to be, Krishna conscious desires, how to, decorate the Lord, how to, engage in different services. He is comparing to all the material, everything material, right? So he is trying to make him realize how materially engrossed he is, and then he will compare it, and then he will sing the glories of devotional service. And when we actually understand our position and when we understand our goal, then it is very easy for us to make the steps. Actually, if we do not advance in devotional service, that means we are not understanding our position. We don't have self-realization. When we understand the position, like everyone, even if we see materialists, they make their step according to their realization of their position. If they think they are poor, if they realize they are poor, what do? They try to gain some money. If they think they are, they are bereft of knowledge, they try to gain some knowledge. They try to study something. In the same way, when we realize ourselves as our constitutional position as eternal servant of the Lord, and I am not serving Krishna, then our next step will be serving the Lord. So in this way, Narad Muni is guiding King Prachina Varishat. Narad Muni ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhogavatī ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Any questions, comments? All good? Yeah. Hare Krishna.